I'm muted. I was muted. Of course I was. Of course I was muted. All right. Well, hold on. Let's start that again. Hold on. We'll get this. All right, there we go. We're back. There we go. You didn't hear me swear or anything, I promise. I saw the DMs and the text messages. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really. What a day. Yeah. So, okay, let me go back. There were no swear words, I promise. What I said was we could find something out tonight, most likely tomorrow, about Arkansas's next head coach. Missouri beats Arkansas. Of course they do. Insert a few beep buttons, beep, 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 beep. No, it wasn't that many. If you can read my lips, I swear I wasn't going on any swear fest. It's just one of those. It's just like that. There you go. That me being muted is like, that's the Arkansas football season. Like, that's the way it felt all year. And I think we could all agree it all started with Memphis. We knew right then and there, okay, that shouldn't have happened. And it did. And then the losses just kept piling up, one after the other. Of course, Notre Dame gave you an absolute ass whooping, but everything else was mostly close. You felt like you were within reach 70% of the game. Today also, you felt like you were within reach. I gotta say, man, in all the years I've been doing this, somehow this feels worse than the Chad Morris era, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know why. I guess because it's happening again, going 2-10 again. And I really don't think – some of you guys are like, we should never have fired Pittman. Do you really think it would have made that much of a difference? I mean, do you really think that would have mattered? I mean, sure it mattered, but do you think it would be enough to win these games? I mean, I guess the only argument you can make is like, well, yeah, no, but Petrino could just focus on the offense. Yeah, but they were doing the same thing, like the same problems when he was just the OC. Like, I don't think it mattered. I don't think that if Sam were here, we fired it. We shouldn't have. We should have just kept. I keep seeing that in Discord. Like, what the hell are you talking about? No. He shouldn't have even made it into the season. He shouldn't have made it out of that 4-win year. And we knew then. This has a cap on it. You know, this is not over. And here we are. I really don't think it would have mattered. I really don't. I'm not in that camp. I think you're 2-10 with or without Sam Pittman. I just do. The defense gave you some opportunities. I think Arkansas did actually score off of one. Was it a 3-and-out? I'm gonna be real with you guys. I was at my in-laws. We're having our Thanksgiving today, and we were trying to watch the game on multiple devices. It was, and then I'm on my way home, and I missed like a part of the end of the first half. But I recall the defense giving the ball back to the offense, and KJ Jackson actually leading these guys down to score. And for whatever reason, you decide to bench KJ Jackson, who was in a really good rhythm, and you went with Talon Green. Like I kind of feel like his actions today automatically disqualify Bobby Petrino from any topic. I've been entertaining the idea of, talking to some other friends about what if they whiff on Golish? What if they don't get Womack? What if they don't? Like, what happens if this just all completely falls apart? Do we go to Petrino as a kind of like what they did with post Jack Crow. Who was it that took over as the interim coach? What was his name? Kynes. He was like an interim head coach for a year, and then he brought, of course, they ended up with Danny Ford, who then eventually got you to Houston Nutt. And I we were kind of entertaining that idea, and it makes sense on paper just from a standpoint of you had a colossal amount of coaching jobs open up. Arkansas is just not financially prepared for this. They can't counter all these other offers. At least that's what we believe to be the case. We know Hunter does not want to negotiate. He's going to send you an offer, and then that's just the end of it. So what if you take the year off? I mean, I hate to say that and put it like that, but you go with an interim head coach with Petrino for a year so the board and the chancellor, so you can walk away from Hunter Yurachek, you bring in a new AD, and then you allow that new AD during that interim year to find a new coach, and maybe you put all your eggs in that basket. That's been a topic, a conversation I've actually had with like two people the last 48, 70-plus hours. I'm not saying I agree with it, but, then kind of seeing what he did tonight, it just feels like, well, no, that automatically disqualifies him. I think God bless him for taking over an absolute shit show. He didn't have to do it, and he did. Thank you, Bobby, for trying. Yeah, your players, to me, they never really gave up. The defense did look like it played harder, at least, despite the fact that they're soft as hell up front. I've never thought that a 350-pound-plus man couldn't bring down a 230-pound. Ian Gerard, what the hell? Anyways, I do think he tried his best as a coach. I think he wanted to win. I think he felt like he owed Arkansas fans, and for that, thank you for your service. But no, I think you've got to make the hire now. And listen, I'm not ever really on board with the 1-year interim thing because, man, that can do so much damage long term. And then you're out trying to hire a guy who's already taken over a mess. And what do you think an interim year will do, right? It could only get worse. Although the counter argument to that, and he might even be in chat. He might even tell you what his thoughts are on this. I'm not going to call him out by name, but you guys know who he is. He's called in. Every once in a while he appears in Discord, and he had a really good argument. He said, these players play for 1 year anyways. Like, you get guys out of the portal, they're only playing for 1 year anyways. Just throw all the money you can at them, what you have in the NIL, and come play a year for Petrino. And then while you've fired your AD and you're making a change there, it gives you more time. But it's like, man, you fired Petrino or Sam Pittman how many weeks ago? And is that a result of just the job isn't attractive and that's really not on Hunter? Or is this Hunter completely fumbling this coaching search? Maybe it's a little bit of both. So I don't know. And here's the other thing. If and it looks like this is going to be the case, Hunter Yurachek is making the hire. He's in on the hire. He's not going anywhere. They're not going to let him make the hire and then fire him next year. I mean, I'd be shocked if they did, unless they get some discount head coach for a really low salary with a really shitty buyout, and it's a disaster. And then you pull together the money from all the rich donors, and then you pull the trigger. And then you fire them both, I guess. I guess that's the only way, but fans are not going to accept that. I don't know, man. There's about 1 billion different ways we can look at this. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be on Hunter to make this hire. Hunter's probably here for another, unless he walks away, he's here for another 2-3 years at minimum. And maybe you end up with Golish, maybe you end up with Womack, maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe those of you who say this is all an act to get or all smoke to get somebody else like Arizona State's head coach or a John Gruden. I don't know why you wouldn't have just hired John Gruden, 7 weeks ago, but I don't know. What I do know is that we were told so long ago after Pittman was fired that Hunter Yurachek would not be the guy making the hire. You remember that? I do. That's what we were told. That's what, the people with all the inside people at the U of A within the athletic department were saying. That looks like it's going to be wrong unless something changes, something dramatic changes. And I guess maybe it's also the verbiage. Maybe it's the words used. Maybe they were saying like, well, it's going to be a hiring committee. You know, it's going to be an outside third party that's doing this. Maybe that was what they meant. I don't know. Scott, what's your last name? Everett? Scott, whatever. Hunter blanked up the previous hire. He's the reason we're here today. Yeah. You know, the reluctancy on NIL, like we can't sit here and act like Hunter isn't a big part of the reason why things are the way they are right now. We can't pretend like for anyone, and there's not very many white knighters for Hunter. There's not, but like there's a few of them, and they're making excuses. It's the same people that are making all these excuses for Sam and even Bobby Petrino. Like, listen, man. And I get it. He was up, he was backed into a corner. He didn't have to take the job. He did. They didn't get blown out. I mean, until, I guess Texas and Missouri really showed you what they could do to Arkansas. But I don't know. Hunter, Eagle says, Hunter weaseled his way back in the Board of Trustees' graces. He must have dirt on some Board of Trustees. That could be true. Appreciate everyone for hopping in here. It's finally over. Now what? What are we doing now? What does Arkansas do now? When do we find out? What's next? What's next? Well, of course, the new head coach, but when does it happen and who is it? Is it Golish? Sounds like Summerall's heading to Florida. Auburn might be interested in Golish. I don't know. Arkansas's football problem is there is no more heart in the program. Bring in Nutt as AD immediately, says James Swope. I wouldn't mind an idea of Houston Nutt being the AD, but then there's the other side of it that I don't know that I would trust him with, which is the financial side, the NIL. I realize they have a GM, but an AD is still very much in charge of some of that, and I don't know. Super chat from earlier might ruffle some feathers. Okay, did I miss one? Let me read. We got one here. Okay, offense averaged less points in the second half than Morris team did. It's time we admit Bobby Petrino for a full game was a mediocre OC. Well, again, Chad Morris, listen, Chad Morris, his offenses never did anything good. And we did get some good out of this offense this year. They did score at a higher rate. Most of the year, they averaged over 34 points a game. They were one of the top 10 offenses in the country, back-to-back seasons in total yardage. But, yeah, you're not wrong, though. A lot of issues with like what happened tonight with the why did you sub KJ out? Why did you do that? Talon gives you the best chance? Is that okay? How many scoring drives did he lead? And you take KJ Jackson out and you kill the rhythm. No one should know that more than Bobby Petrino. Why did you do that? That just didn't make any damn sense. Again, I was paying attention to the game, but I just was. It's like it felt like Chad Morris era all over again. It has even before the losing streak. It just, oh man, the defense is so bad. They're so bad. It's here we are again. It's like Chief is coach of the defense, man. It's so bad. And then you still have a turnover-prone offense, and you make this switch with KJ Jackson and Taylor Green that made no sense. And he was favoring his hamstring. You saw him. He was not 100%. He had a couple of good runs. Outside of that, what are you doing? KJ Jackson is dropping dimes. He's moving the ball. He's finding rhythm. And you pull him? No. Thank you for your service, Bobby Petrino, but no. I was surprised by that. I really was. I think Bobby Petrino probably put Talon in because it was senior night. And I get that. It's good to see you, Arizona Tim, by the way. It's good to see you. I get that. But, man, you're trying to win a game. You're trying to win your only conference game of the year, the last game of the year against a supposed rivalry whom you've not held up your end of the bargain at all. It's not a rivalry to them either, I don't think. Why would it be? You've got to at least win a few games to make it a real rivalry. But regardless, why do you pull him? I can understand starting him. and letting him start a series and then see what he does in that series. If he has a really strong start, he's like 5 of 5 on that drive with a nice touchdown run at the end. Okay, I can understand you keep him in for a little bit. But at the first sign of struggle, you yank him and you put in KJ Jackson if you're going that route. Otherwise, when you start KJ Jackson, you've already just let him start to finish. Let him play. And we still, we don't really know, not that we were going to know a lot because he is a redshirt freshman, to be fair, but we really don't know, what he's capable of from start to finish against a quality opponent. In KJ Jackson, I would like to have seen that. But I think we all know, KJ Jackson is a really good player. He's a really good player. I mean, I was so impressed with him. That touchdown throw, oh, my God. He stepped into the pocket, took the lick, and delivered the ball right to the spot where the receiver needed to be and had to be and was there. Taylon Green does not do that. We don't see him. We see him panic, and he just runs away and then gets sacked and loses yardage. It was so nice, and someone brought that up the last might have been the last postgame, or maybe it was a midweek show. I don't remember, but it was such a good point. It was so – it might have been HB actually in Discord. So it's and he's right. I saw it too. It was so nice to see him step into the pocket and make the throw. But, yeah, let's bench him. And put out a Taylon Green who's favoring his leg, his hamstring. Think we would have won a lot of games with K. I'm not saying that, Kelly Williams. I'm not saying you're going to go out there and win a whole bunch of games, but we don't have a large enough sample size to know. But it certainly felt like, why didn't he get some more chances earlier in the year? Why? And again, this speaks to whether or not what kind of. Is Bobby a realistic candidate to take the job in an interim capacity? And I don't think he is. But what if that is a topic they're having? To me, that decision between KJ and Taylon, and I get the yardage and the numbers. We talked about it all year long. Yeah, he led. I mean, the offense wasn't terrible under Taylon. But when the game is on the line, or when you need a response from the offense, when the defense finally gets the offense out on the field, either from a takeaway or a 3 and out or whatever, they get the ball in your hands, give you the opportunity. Taylon Green folds like a cheap Walmart lawn chair. He just does. He's just not a capable fighting quarterback in the minutes when you need him the most. And that's that clutch gene. Of course, a clutch would speak more to the end of a game, and he's also not got that either. But I would say he's also a mid-game clutch problem too. But yet KJ just, to me, looks sharper, willing to step up in the pocket. I don't know. Willing to make that throw. Transplanted Texan says KJ is not following Petrino anywhere. I have no idea if he is or not. Who knows? KJ, Brandon Allen-ish. I'd be careful on how you use that, because, boy, Brandon Allen had a lot of haters until his senior year. And I kept telling my friends, listen, give him a chance. We're officially the ugliest team at the bar. Oh, God, you're not even inside the bar, Command. You're outside in the alley. They're not letting you in because you're so damn fugly. I mean, portal is about to be painted red tonight from all the players. Yeah, it's I'm going to tell you this much. I'm not, and I want to make this perfectly clear. I know I'm going to catch some shit for this. I don't really care. The way the leadership is at the University of Arkansas, the way, when you talk about the money, you talk about all these issues this school has, are things really as bad as fans think they are? They could be. We don't know exactly everything that's going on the inside. And we're going to learn a lot based on this coaching hire. We really are. We're going to learn. You're already learning your place in the pecking order. This is not a team that deserves to be in the SEC. They don't. They don't deserve to be in the SEC. Until they can prove otherwise, you have losing streaks to A&M, to Missouri. LSU you can beat once every 6 years, apparently. Alabama, before you stopped playing them, had a hell of a winning streak on you, and I get it. They were that way with a lot of teams. About the only decent SEC team you were able to show you could go toe-to-toe with was Tennessee. But based on these head-to-head matchups in football, they don't belong in this conference. Prove me wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Look at the numbers since post-Petrino. Look at the numbers the last 13 seasons. What about this team says they belong to be in the Premier League based on the money, the AD, just from leadership? Fan fanatics are there. Fanship absolutely belongs in the SEC. But everything else about this program, about the football program, does not belong in this conference. It doesn't. Again, I'm not saying they should leave. I'm not saying they should head to the Big 12. Some of you would argue the Sun Belt. I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying they should. I'm just simply telling you that it has been the most just a disaster for the most part, outside of a couple of really good years, Well, I shouldn't say really good, pretty solid years. 8 regular season wins it's the most you've had in the 2020s, and we're heading into 2026. I don't know. I'm and the craziest part about this is post Petrino, I would never have believed it would get as bad as it's gotten. I would never have believed it. I would have said, no way in hell, dude. We're right in the mix of being one of the better SEC teams. It's gone to the wayside. So who do you blame for that? Is it Jeff Long? Is it Petrino? Because that's the catalyst to all of this, right? Is Petrino's bike wreck. That's where this all began. And since then, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when of course, you had the Danny Ford era. You had Jack Crow. Sure, fair enough. But then Houston was able to pull you into relevancy. Houston was able to pull you into relevancy his first 2 years. What did he win? 19 games or whatever, 18, 17 games. Remember, and you played 11 games a year. Damn near beat Tennessee on the road until the infamous fumble. But right now, I don't know until they prove otherwise. And this hire is going to tell us a lot about where Arkansas is at in the scheme of things. If you do whiff on Golish, and listen, I'm not opposed to Womack. I'm right there with plenty of you who think that depending on who he hired as a coordinator on the offensive side of things, he could work out. I don't know. I'm not, again, he's never been on my short list, but I wouldn't call that an F- hire. I wouldn't say that at all, but I have nothing against Womack. But is it that splash hire that everyone thought they were going to get after firing Sam Pittman when you fired him? No, it's not. But then after you fired Pittman, you had a domino effect across the college football landscape of coaches getting fired. And, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just really easy to be down and out on Arkansas football right now, and I realize a lot of people have for a while. But at the end of the day, I want to be relevant in this league. I want Arkansas football to belong, to look like, not just look like, to actually put a product on the field. Put a product on the field you can be proud of, and not just 1 year. But it feels like it's asking too much. Why is that? Oh, it's because you're in the SEC. That's right. So, yeah, I'm not asking for them to leave. I don't want them out of the SEC. I like being in this conference. I like the potential. Who knows? Maybe the Missouri-Arkansas rivalry can turn into something. I don't know. But, again, you got to hold up your end of the bargain. They've done their work. Trinkowitz owns Arkansas. Missouri owns Arkansas in football. Well, you might be better than them at every other sport. On the men's side of things, right? You're going to dominate them in baseball. They don't stand a chance against you in baseball. Basketball, they're always pretty good, great recruiting class, but they don't go as far as we do in the tournament. They have it in the 2020s. But football is the sport that we all know that matters. And it's time, it's just high time that an athletic director lead. Show the fans. Don't tell them that you're not there financially and leave them with absolute next to zero hope. Lead this program. And I'm not saying Hunter's been all bad, because he hasn't. He brought in Musselman, and for that, I am like, that to me is just such a great hire. Wow. Great. That's awesome. Thank you, Hunter. He's not responsible for Cal. We know that. He played a role, but he's not responsible. We know how that unfolded. Pittman was kept too long, and now who knows who the next head coach is. Is it Golesh or isn't it? They play tonight. Actually, they're about to play here in a little bit. Guys, they're not going to announce it on ESPN. I know people are going to watch the game. If they do, I swear I will. Man, I don't know. I might get drunk on stream or something. I don't know, but they're not going to announce his future tonight when they're playing. Who is it? Rice. Who the hell are they playing tonight? We were just talking about that. Is it Rice or is it? Yeah, it's Rice. Oh, it's on now. They're not going to announce anything. Boy, if Rice wins that game, how attractive is Golesh then, right? If they drop this game to Rice, who's not atrocious, they're not very good. They're 5-6, but they did beat nobody worth a damn. Never mind. For some reason, I thought they went toe-to-toe with Memphis, but they did end up losing 38-14 in that one, and they lost to UTSA 61-13. But they're not going to announce it tonight. We're not going to know. I think we don't hear anything until tomorrow. And again, they might. Who knows? This thing might pour into Monday. It could pour into Monday. I don't know. Can we kick out the spammers? Well, where are the spammers? Who's spamming? Steve says Arkansas ended when A&M and Mizzou entered the SEC. I would argue A&M for sure really hurt your ability to recruit in certain pipelines in Texas. I do agree with that. And it wasn't just Arkansas that it affected. It also affected Oklahoma as well. But Oklahoma's a bigger school, and they were able to recover a little easier. Golesh would be C+, says Steve-O. I guess I'm in that neighborhood, B-, C+. I don't think it's as bad as some people think that it is. But I would have no clue what he would do moving forward. But I do feel like I do think he could build something here. Just what is it exactly? I don't know. Like I think he could have. Again, the question is money. It's always money, 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 money. If he can ignite some excitement with the boosters, if Hunter could do his damn job, and again, I know he started with Bud Walton Arena in the seating, the way they rearranged seating, and I guess they raised like $11 million or something out of that. Great, cool. It's hurting the environment there, but cool. If you can financially support him, I think you could have a pretty fun product, at least on one side of the ball. And I don't think that means you're going to get what we got this year all over again. Then again, you never know. Arkansas has always struggled on defense, guys. They've never been great on defense. I can think of I don't know, what was that, 2015? Was it 2015 when they shut out back-to-back LSU and Ole Miss, who was ranked? They shut them out. What year was that? Was that the what year was that? Rob Smith? God, I can't remember. That feels like 25 years ago. Online 5702 says Arkansas football needs to move to the Sun Belt. Well, financially, that would be the dumbest thing in the world to do. It'd be dumb to even try to leave the SEC because you need that money. However, you're not winning a lot of football games. Rumor is Golesh is waiting on Ole Miss. Yeah, that's been the rumor for a while. I say a while. To me, this all feels like it's been going on forever because trying to keep up with it all and covering it all. But at least for the last several days, Icy is spamming Gruden. Okay, yeah, dude, we're gonna have to chill on that. You mean LC? Is that who you're talking about? LC? Yeah, let's chill out on spamming Gruden. Can I say Woo Pig on here? Yahoo Aways shuts me. Oh, I don't know why this font is so small on my screen, you guys. Yahoo always shuts me down when I comment Woo Pig. Okay. Google also said that we got beat 31-14. Oh, did it really? Yeah, make sure you guys, as you're coming in, boy, all the tags, all the DMs. Ty, you're muted. I know, bro. I was muted. I got it. Thank you. All I need is one. I don't need 15 people DMing me. I got it. I was mute. It's been a long day. The people here need to stop saying that calling for Gruden to be Arkansas coach, not going to happen, says Arky. What's up, Pops? Yeah, I don't think anyone, I think it's a very small section of the fan base that wants Gruden here. Just because it would be exciting. But it's not happening. If you're going to hire Gruden, you would have done it weeks ago. Again, unless they really are desperate and they do whiff on everybody, then maybe they give them a call. I don't know. Did you know you were muted at the beginning of the stream? I know, right? Dude, emotions have went high, and then we thought we had the basketball to save us, which, yeah, too early in the season, but it looks like we're not going to be able to win big games. Big games there, football, James 870 Arc fan, I think you might need to put down your sixth Coke and Sailor Jerry. I don't know what you're drinking, bro. If you're bummed out about basketball, I don't know what to tell you. I maybe they don't win against one of these non-con teams. I don't know. But have you checked in on Michigan State lately? Have you checked in on Michigan State? They're pretty good. I think they just beat the living shit out of North Carolina. They're undefeated. And you were not far away from taking them to overtime at their house. That's all I'm going to say. Duke is also really good. If you're down and out on basketball already, you're way too emotional for the sport. You're way too reactionary for the sport. Just give it a minute, right? Maybe they don't win. These are Elite Eight. These were teams that all went to the Elite Eight. We know that right now they've got a physicality question, okay? And that's where teams are beating you. Everything else feels pretty good. You're going to be a guard-heavy team, signature Cal team. You just need some guys to get a little bit more little tough inside, around the paint, around the post. I wouldn't abandon basketball yet. As we should have learned from last year, starting off 0-5 in conference play. Sir, I wouldn't bet Arkansas out. I wouldn't bet against Cal. I just wouldn't. I don't know how they do against Louisville. We're going to have to talk about that. Louisville, again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I won't watch basketball till Cal is gone. Oh, my God. Are you serious with that? J-Dog, what the hell? Are you serious? What more do you want? God, football has just ruined some of you. Oh, man. Dude, I don't know, Jay. You really might need to go touch grass. I don't know what else to say. I would understand if they had if they were losing right now, had a losing streak. But you're out on Razorback basketball until they fire the Hall of Fame basketball coach, Coach Cal. Did you just say that? Don't like Cal. I guess you don't like making the Sweet 16. His first year. With all the obstacles they had to deal with last year with the injuries, trying to get healthy. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just going to have to ignore some of these comments. That's incredible. I can't believe you read that. Well, I don't proofread, Malik, so, I mean, I'm trying to read these, and I'm reading them aloud, so we're just J-Dog's from Lexington. Yeah, he's got to be a Kentucky kid. I don't know. He's been around for a while. That's just a wild statement to me. Man. Someone said something about this game breaking fans. Yeah, I think Razorback football has broken fans. And again, I'm not suggesting they're a Final Four team this year. I don't know. I'm just simply telling you to pump the brakes, go outside, maybe go for a drive. You don't like Coach Cal? If they completely whiffed on the tournament last year and they were garbage, they weren't good. They finished bottom 3 in the SEC or last in the SEC and didn't make the tournament. And it was garbage and they're losing right now. I could probably understand that statement, but that's not what happened, and that's not what's happening currently. I don't know. Arkansas should hire Chad GPT as AD. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Anyways, I don't know how much you guys want to talk about this Missouri-Arkansas game. The score was closer than 31-17, but at the same time, it's not. I don't know. You held Missouri 40% on third down. Arkansas was 5 of 13. They weren't much better. 1 for 1. They had just 246 total yards of offense. That might have something to do with switching back and forth on quarterbacks. I don't know. 185 yards through the air. Missouri with just 25. How about the 16 penalties for 121 yards? Holy shit. Listen, some of those were warranted. Yeah, some of them were legit, and then the rest were just bullshit. I don't know what targeting is anymore. Oh man. Take away the bad officiating. I still think Arkansas, again, it's just like what we talked about with the Duke game, right? I think you probably still, if that game were, if we were actually getting the hook calls, maybe it's closer. I would probably still take Duke to win that game. It's the same thing here. I'm not pitting the loss on the refs, but holy God, 16 penalties for 121 yards on Arkansas. That's just Arkansas. 5 for 45 yards on Missouri. Just, yeah, incredible. KJ Jackson was pretty good tonight. He was 11 of 17 for 126 yards. Green was 6 of 13 for 59. Taylor Green, how often do you hear him being held to this kind of number? 8 carries, 4 yards. I think some of those, of course, the sacks don't help his case. Omega Blake was pretty good tonight, but 4 catches, 53 yards. I think he also had a drop. Rohan Jones, his usual 1 catch for like 30 yards, and then he vanishes in the offense. I don't know what the hell that's about, but that's what happened. 1 catch for 26 yards. Mike Washington, 11 carries, 50 yards. Offensive line could not get a whole lot of push. Really liked the play out of Larry Worth tonight. Thought he was physical, fast, getting to the ball. He's when it comes to not covering, he's pretty good in the second. I mean, he can make things happen. Really good run stop caliber defensive back. That's what he is. He's really more like a linebacker at 6'4", 225 pounds. But boy, he looked like an NFL draft prospect tonight. 10 tackles. Ian Jafar did get credit for a TFL. Other than that, he was pushed around like a rag doll. How about Walker tonight? He had a sack, a TFL, and Cam Ball had a couple of TFLs. I mean, mostly this whole defense is soft. Defensive line can't get off a block to save their life. Neither can the linebackers. Xavier Sori was. He's either playing with an injury all year long that we don't know about that they haven't disclosed, or he just really didn't give a shit this year. I don't know. I'm ready for this to change. I'm ready for this to be over. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of Arkansas looking like they don't belong in the SEC. I'd like to at least be in the middle of the pack, fighting to get our way to the top like Houston Nutt used to do. Where you were considered one of the better middle of the pack teams most of the time, not all the time. Especially 04-05, oof. And certainly a couple of years before that too. But for the most part, he recovered and he had teams that fought. That's what I want, man. And that's asking too much. Just be respectable. And again, it's not like they got blown out much this year. Just the Notre Dame game really felt like it was never in hand. Every game, 11 games this year, it was definitely in hand. Arkansas, or within reach, I should say. I thought they were within reach tonight. It just kept slipping through their fingers, and they definitely couldn't stop the run game. They ran for 322 yards, as we all thought they probably would, Like, someone might think you're exaggerating because you're so pissed off at this team when you were telling, Uncle Bill at the table, like, Bill, I think we're going to give up 300-plus total yards of offense, and everyone at the table, that's so silly. And then you really do off 58 carries for almost 6 yards a carry with 3 rushing touchdowns. That happened. It was real. That wasn't hyperbole. That was you being straight up. No, listen, Gam Suey. We're going to give up 320-plus yards on the ground alone. No way, sweetheart. That's an exaggeration. Here, have your stuffings with your turkey. That's not going to happen. Yeah, the defense is bad, but they're playing better under Bobby Petrino. Thank God this is over. Thank God it's over. Hopefully the next staff on both sides of the ball can, teach everyone how to be physical, win the battle along the line of scrimmage, build a team from the inside out. The work in the offseason on the defensive line was shit. Outside of Rhodes, I don't know who you had on that defensive line that was worth whatever shitty NIL they were getting to begin with. Like, who lived up to anything this year on that defensive side of the ball, especially on the D-line. In the secondary too, right? It's got to be over, man. Ty, you need a Kleenex. I do? I need a Kleenex? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Arkansas made Missouri running back look like Bo Jackson. I mean, he's already really good, but yeah. He made him look like the next Barry Sanders. Ty, 4-8 is our ceiling from here on out. There's no trust left between the fans and the athletic department. It's going to take decades to rebuild this program. Well, I don't know, Judd. You constantly live in negativity town. I'm just I think someone can change it. I just think it's going to have to be a change in leadership. It's got to be at the top. It's got to be a change at the top, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Hey, again, make sure you take the poll, yeah? Why don't you do that? Do we find out tomorrow who the next head hog is? No, says 54% of you say no. Really? So when do we find out? Tonight after USF's ball game, 10%, which, again, I agree with. You never know. These things are crazy. It'd be nice if we had an AD that would, apply a little pressure, That's on a whole bunch of votes, though. So 53% of you say no. So we're not going to find out tomorrow. Boy, that's going to be rough. You do not want to go into Monday not knowing who your next HC is, man. Need a new athletic director, but I've only been saying that since he raised a guy who said he was never leaving and whiffed on Kiffin for $500,000. We need a new board of trustees, new AD, new head coach, new NIL staff, etc. Sad. Well, you may not be wrong, Bloodline. It just feels like from the very top, they are failing Razorback fans. And I'm telling you, it's funny when people say it's just sports. No, it's not. You think about it. One team in the entire state. Think about how much the local economy depends on Arkansas football. Think about how much of an impact that has. And then, hell, we could talk about mental health. I certainly know I might need a checkup. I don't know. Ty, you have to think about it because USF is going bowling, so won't be soon. Oh, yeah, but okay. But no, 9379 coaches don't coach their bowl games all the time. I mean, that's not. If it were a playoff, that'd be different. But no, I listen. I don't think Golish will coach their bowl game. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does, but I don't think that's going to happen. We will not find out for a few more weeks. Oh, Lord. Don't tell me that. There's zero urgency to hire a coach, so I doubt it happens anytime soon. I hope you're wrong, Judd. I hope that's just you living in pessimistic Pamsville. I don't know. Odd, we got a second tweet from Remy's GM tenure over Thanksgiving. Sad that I'm more interested in Kiffin than our next head coach. Well, yeah, I think everyone's, Kiffin won at a program that could only win when they cheated their balls off. Like, you take away the mass cheating, and there's no doubt in my mind, if you want to say, well, everybody cheats, yeah, not like Ole Miss did. Not even close, bro. Like, that was Miami SMU level bad, Pony Express level bad cheating, and it was out in the public. That's the only time that program's been relevant in the modern era of college football. That's the only time. They had to cheat their balls off. And then a little while later, they end up with a coach that you know what? If he sticks it out, if he stays, coaches their playoffs, can advance and win some games, which I don't know, maybe they can, they're going to build him a statue. They're going to build Kiffin a statue at Ole Miss. That's what's going to happen if he sticks around another year and keeps doing that. They're going to build him a statue. He's the best thing to ever happen to that program. And to think they have Beard coaching basketball too, isn't that wild? It's just wild. That shitty little swamp schools. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I realize LSU's the school in the swamp. I get it, but I just. Anyways, Biden, because he's pardoned for all of his stupid crap. What? Why are we talking about politics? Y'all keep the politics out of chat. Keep it out. That's a warning. Don't talk politics. We're not doing that. Keep the politics out for now. Death taxes and Judd painting the worst picture possible. It's true. Like there are people that just, it's hard to blame them because of what they've seen. Now, Judd's young. Judd's like in his early mid 20s. All he has seen most of his life is bad football. It's hard to fault anybody for that. And to be fair, when I was a kid, Arkansas football was a shit show then too. At least the Jack Crow, Danny Ford. When I started paying attention to football, and then, of course, my Rams are garbage, but I stuck with them, right? I stuck with the St. Louis Rams through the shit. And I did get the greatest show on turf. That was the reward. And then we went back to the Super Bowl a couple years later, and we'd lose to Tom Brady and the Patriots, but, whatever. I think, for me, the thing that drives me crazy, it's the fans. And I know this because I have friends that are like this, and sometimes I get it. I'm right there with them. I'm so mad about what's going on. But, like, all they do is live in that world of just negative, and that they don't ever come out. And, again, it's hard to fault them. What do you have to be positive about? I get it. But then when the good happens, and I'm just talking about in general, right? We didn't have the same kind of message boards. Discord wasn't a thing in 1999 when Mike Martz was calling the offense for the greatest show on turf for Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, and Kurt Warner, Marshall Falk. There weren't message boards. There wasn't Discord around back then. I mean, there were Yahoo chat rooms. You better be careful if they're asking for your ASL, but probably talking like some 45-year-old pervert, but you didn't have that back then. But those people now that are in Discord, all they do is they're negative all the time. They're negative. That's where they live, and that's what they do, and that's what they eat, breathe, and sleep. And then when some good comes along and they want to cheer for the good, I guess you call that passion. I don't know. Like that, I just don't understand that. Like I get venting. I get it. We're all venting. We're all a little angry. James 870 Arc fan says I need to start smoking weed. You thought I was gonna shit on Judd, didn't you? You thought I was gonna shit on the negative people. I just call it passion. It's just passion. What did Ghost of Nothing say? Someone's giving him 100%. Let me see. What did he say? I don't see it. It doesn't help that the font is so small on my damn screen. But I don't. Oh, here we go. The craziest thing is that we passed on Lane. Well, yeah. Kiffin could have easily looked like Pittman this year. He just had luck on his side. He's overrated, honestly. I would argue in the NIL era, all he's done is continue to get better at Ole Miss. I don't know, like, overrated. What does that mean, really? Like, what are you saying when you're saying he's overrated? I think at Ole Miss, he's fantastic. Who knows what he does if he goes to LSU, where the pressure is, it's like, what Ole Miss has achieved this year is the expectation at a school like LSU. That's a whole different discussion. That's a whole different job. when you go to LSU. You can be as good. You could be great, and if some coaches just have a hard time carrying that on with them to bigger jobs, I don't know that I'd call him overrated though, Dustin. I don't know about that. I don't think I'd call him overrated to do what he did at Ole Miss. I mean, I'm just saying, like Ole Miss was. I mean, Arkansas and Ole Miss, Mississippi State, South Carolina, those schools were all kind of here, right, together, and he goes there, and they're well above Arkansas. It's not even close. And to be fair, a lot of people are though. It's how you just made me spit out my whiskey. Ah, damn it! That's a waste of good whiskey. I hope it wasn't good whiskey. I hope you're drinking some like crap. I don't want you spitting out your quality stuff now. Look at the scores throughout the season and tell me I'm wrong, Dustin. Look at the wins. Yeah, I'll agree. The same thing with Missouri, right? Like they beat who they were supposed to beat and lost who they were supposed to lose to. Ole Miss tends to beat teams they're supposed to lose to. I mean, I'm just saying. Kiffin is the type of guy that loves the limelight and pressure. Yeah, well, I don't know. He's his type of environment. I think you meant to say Kiffin will make LSU a lead again. I could see that. I could see anything happening. I don't know. I've given up trying to predict what coaches do anywhere. And that's why I'm not like completely lost on Goalish. That's why I like Goalish to me is like, I don't know. I think he'd be fine. He's as long as he's supported, as long as he's financially supported, I think you can win here. The problem is everybody else is getting financially supported. Everyone else is scrounging, but they're also finding new ways to move forward. And it feels like Arkansas is just getting left further and further in the dust. Damn. All right. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Very nice cigar. Mike, very nice. Yeah, MJ's right. The scores, brother, look at the W's. I mean, that's what matters at the end of the day. Ty, cigar of night. Rothschild, Maduro. Maduro's the way to go. Maduro's the way to go. Chocolatey. Oh, man. I might have to drive down to the cigar store, honestly. Oh, my God. I got so many texts. Kiffin used to get a better deal. Oh, Kiffin used us better to get a better deal out of Ole Miss. You're talking about then, right? When he got hired the first time. You're not talking about now. Let's hope Kiffin stays at Ole Miss. Listen, you still have some other schools that are going to sniff around at Goalish if Goalish is your guy. Okay, that's not over. I really don't know. I think we find out tomorrow or Monday. But like some of you are suggesting, we could wait until I think it was Judd saying we may not know for weeks. Brother, I don't see that happening. I don't know. Goalish is a giant wild card. Could honestly go either way. I think you're right, Dustin. I think that's correct. I agree. I think he's a wild card. He hasn't exactly won at a really high level there at USF, but he absolutely turned that program around. Now, their NIL has its act together down there. They're doing well. Them and Memphis, I don't know how good Memphis is doing NIL-wise, but apparently they're pretty competitive in the portal. And so maybe he could bring that with him. I mean, obviously you're going to look at the AD, or their CEO, whatever the hell they call him. But I guess he has an agent. I still never got clarification on that. I keep people talking about his agent, but no one's saying it's Sexton. So who the hell represents him? Yeah, USF is destroying Rice. Yeah, I mean they were heavy favorites. They should be. Appreciate everyone for being here. Listen, at the end of the day, what happened tonight was exactly what you thought would happen, right? Arkansas continues losing to Missouri. I want them to look like they belong in this conference, and it's gonna you need to get your ducks in a row before 2030. That's what I keep hearing. I don't know how real that is. I don't see the SEC booting Arkansas out, but you need to have all your ducks in a row. Anything can happen. And Arkansas certainly does not need to leave the SEC. If you're talking about you're already short on money now and you want to leave the SEC, listen, I don't think that would be like you want the money and you want to be able to upgrade your facilities because that's going to need to happen. You're going to need that money, man, and you're already trying to build up to that 21 or whatever it is, 21 and a half. And staying in this league is better for your financial health, and the better your financial health is, the better you could build a more respectable program. But yeah, now you got to deal with being in the SEC. You got to deal with this schedule. Can Arkansas ever get to a point, or can they get back to being respectable in this conference? Now they got to play 9 of these bastards. Now they got to play 9 of these sons of bitches and a P4 that's outside the conference. That's the question. Everyone has to get that money. Everyone's getting that money that's in the SEC. So you got to go above and beyond. You don't have the benefit of being able to recruit whoever you want out of the state because you don't produce enough P4 talent. I don't know. Leave the SEC, question mark. Someone needs to lose. Haha, but seriously, Arkansas basketball and baseball add value to SEC, even if football's an embarrassment. Yeah, I don't think anyone's arguing that. But at the end of the day, what matters most to the SEC front office? What sport generates the most revenue? It's not even a question. Yeah, they have respect in the other sports and in women's sports too. But on the men's side, where the revenue is really generated, it all comes from football, or the vast majority of it comes from football. Got to have your ducks in a row. I think the SEC. Nothing would shock me from the SEC. I don't know. Judd. Oh God, man. Ugh. I'm not even reading that. I'm not reading that. Some of my comments look like I'm retarded. I promise I'm driving and it's voice text. I do the same thing because you can't even be caught with your phone in your hand. No, they'll get you, James. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. They'll get you. They'll pull you over. They'll get that ass. And then if you explain to them, listen, I'm venting my frustrations about Arkansas football to this fat guy on YouTube. You got to understand, officer. And most likely, if you're in Northwest Arkansas, he might be like, no, you know what? I get it. Go on about your day, sir. Yeah. He helped us, all right, get more L's so he can go. Who? What? Talon scammed Arkansas for all that money. He's a fraud. I don't know about all that. I'm not going to call him a fraud. I just think he's just turnover prone. And man, when it's on his shoulders to do something, to respond, to win, he can't do it. Petrino. Oh, Petrino. Well, he did do that. But I mean, the offense certainly did things numbers-wise, but they just couldn't overcome the bad defense and the turnovers, or, the giveaways. They just couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. Look at the help they got today. And they still only scored 17 points. I said it when we knew that stretch was coming and we were seeing all this offensive explosion. I told you guys the numbers are going to go down. And they did go down slowly, and they're still pretty respectable, but they went down. I think not getting Franklin was something we couldn't afford. He must have seen our NIL and scared him off. I don't know. Yeah, Virginia Tech won that one, didn't they? Ole Miss 11-1 with their backup quarterback this season, FML. Yeah. John Summerall looks like he's heading to Florida. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. All right, so we're gonna start to wrap this thing up. I appreciate the super chats tonight and the Patreon. The question is, what is next? This is finally over with. What is next? What's next for Arkansas football? If it's goalish, I have no clue. Maybe it's been Womack and they just don't want to say. I don't know. We know what needs to be there, and that's the money, right? That's the money. Doesn't matter who the hell you get. We've talked about this over and over. Doesn't matter if he doesn't have financial support. They have to. We can't sit on our hands with this. Can't do it. I'm with a lot of you. I'd prefer Golish over Womack, but Womack to me is not a terrible backup option, but they're certainly worse. I get the frustration about firing Pittman when you did and then waiting this long. Listen, I'll tell you this much. There's a lot of people, a lot of talking heads that do feel like Golish is that would be a hell of a get wherever he landed. That doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it true. But for the people that pay attention and watch him, I saw there's a video out there of him how he scouts players, which was interesting. Suggest you watch it. I saw it on TikTok. I suggest you watch it. Check it out. We need to sign Golish now. I agree. I put that video out, and some people took it the wrong way. That, like I was saying, he's absolutely 100% the guy. He's going to win here. I never said that. What I said was, you better sign him now, or you could be left with nothing. Where you really are looking at a Petrino interim year or something like that. You know, like, and I don't want that. I would rather take Golish now than wait until, like some of you have suggested, weeks down the road where you get left. I mean, who knows? They might be able to still find somebody out there that we never thought that would be an option, right? And feel like it was a better hire. But I don't know. And we got to consider who's making the hire. I hate to say it, but just the truth of the matter. So they need to get this figured out now. Get the hire in now. Now. Don't let this thing carry on. All right. Shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Listen, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, you're off work, your garage door's not working. Give these guys a call, 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. All over Central Arkansas, man. They got your back. 1,000+ 5-star reviews. Better than the best results. Again, that is free estimates, quality parts, same-day services, even when you're getting off work and you're having problems with your door. All right? Reach out to them and see what Direct Service Overhead can do for you. Again, shout out to Patreon supporters. If anyone's curious about where the post is on Patreon with the new cards, for whatever reason, Patreon, it must – the same people that run the ESPN app must run the Patreon app. It's not letting me post anything on my phone, on my mobile phone. I don't know what the hell the deal is. So I'm going to try and figure out. We may just do a video in there and just show you the cards. I don't know. I don't know why the hell I can't post anything. It's really annoying. It just does this. That's all it does. This is all it does. It'll do this for like 5 minutes and then just time out. I don't know what the hell's going on. So, and this is usually how I do everything, is how I post those pictures or the cards, is using my phone. So I don't know, but the cards, they were shown in Discord. They're awesome. So yeah, join Patreon and you'll have a shot at winning one of those autographed cards. I'm pretty sure it's the same damn people that run the ESPN app. I'm just saying. All right. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back. Who knows, tomorrow, Monday? I don't know. Whenever we hear something about the new coach, if it's done tomorrow, make sure you hit the notification bell, okay? That way you know as soon as I go live what's going on, and I'll get you caught up and get you filled in. We might even have guests on the show. I think Travis and Tim both have said they'd like to be here for that, so it'll be a big moment when it does happen. Yeah, all right. At least this is behind us. Thank God for that, all right? Thank God it's over. Thank you, Jesus. gonna get?